So in my last video, I wanted to see what would happen if I put a performance tune from PCM for Less on a completely stock 2006 Chevy Colorado. And the result of that is she indeed bangs. It actually ran an 8.250 to 60, which is absolutely amazing considering two things. One, like I'd mentioned before, these Colorados experience axle wrap really bad, which that really never happened because in order for axle wrap to even happen, you have to have traction. We had no traction, so to speak, of the whole time. And that is mostly because of this right here. This is actually one of the two tires that were on the back of the Colorado. These tires were actually on my 94 Buick Roadmaster, and I had them on there for years too. If we actually take a look here, you can see we have a date code, which is 3612, and this is 2026, early 2026, mind you, when this video is being recorded. But if you look at this date code, it says 3612. That means it's the 36th week of the 12th year of, I would imagine, 2012. So that makes these at least 14 years old. I mean, also, if you look, I mean, it's pretty dang bald too. So that, top of just how hard they are, there's really no way that we're ever gonna get traction out of this. So this is easily enough remedied. Now, I didn't really have the money because we're trying to do all this on a budget-minded build here. I didn't really have the money to go and get new tires, so I just went and I found the only 15-inch tires that I could find in like a 100-mile radius. So that's one thing done. Now, the other thing that we're gonna get more traction, we want to prevent that axle wrap like I had talked about. So to do that, we're actually going to make these DIY spring clamps, and let me show you how to do that.
Okay, essentially what a spring clamp is, it has a U-bolt, which I don't have one, but if you could imagine, it's basically a U, that's a horrible U, but it's basically a bolt that is in the shape of a U. These are indicating threads, and then, so basically, now what that is, the usual ones that you buy aftermarket are basically just a U-bolt with a type of a clamp, and we'll use this little piece of flat stock to replicate that. And then basically you'd put nuts and washers on the end of the U-bolt, and then you just kind of, you know, squeeze it up to clamp the spring. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a couple of pieces of this flat stock. This is 3/16, it's thin, but it's all I had. I'm trying to do this on a budget. So basically I'm gonna cut, my springs are 2.5 inches wide, so I'm gonna cut about 4 inches, and I'm going to do that 4 times, and then basically instead of the U-bolt we're just going to have, you know, 2 pieces of flat stock, one here, one there, to kind of clamp the spring. Let me go ahead and get one together, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we go. This was my vision. Pretty much gonna work not too bad, I would imagine. So basically, yeah, the spring is going to go through there, and then we will clamp it by tightening these. So saved pretty good amount of money. Actually saved about 20 bucks doing this compared to buying the aftermarket ones. And I've actually still got more flat stock that I can use in case if I actually drilled those holes right there way off, as you can see. So hopefully that doesn't kind of, if I get this to focus right, yeah, you can see right there. Hopefully I got enough there, but if not, like I said, I've got more. So, and I still came in way cheaper. So that's kind of what this build is going to be all about. Most of my builds are budget builds, but yeah, we're going to do everything as cheap as we can. So I think this will work really well. I didn't even paint them. We're just going to kind of test them first, and maybe, I don't know, somewhere down the line we'll paint them.
Okay, so before we actually put these spring clamps on, let's go ahead and look at the tires. This was kind of unfortunate for me.
Okay, so when I went there and actually got these, I just kind of did a quick glance at them, and really what I've been doing lately is I just kind of feel for the softness, because that was what I wanted, was a softer tire. But man, it's just so weird. Look at all that dry rotting. It's just insane how much dry rotting it has, but it's still soft. In any event, this is going to be a lot better, and it's a little bit of a newer tire too. So when you are installing these,
You always want to go on the front of the axle, not on the rear. The rears you want to fan out. The front of the leaf springs you want to actually kind of clamp. And I do notice that there is one here, but where this is going to be a lot more efficient and where we want to do it is kind of right next to this one. You want to get this main spring, and we want to clamp all those together. Looks like there is one here. So yeah, let me go ahead and throw this on there, and I'll show you. Okay, so now basically, there we go. Think that'll do. Another thing about these tires is they're Wranglers. They're just so goofy. They're so knobby. That's not really gonna get the best traction, but should do better than the other ones. So, all right, here we go. This is the bottom companion spring. The longest spring leaf is always going to be your main leaf, and then these ones are companions. So, like my Uncle Tony said, you have to clamp to get initially the best. You got to get from the front of the axle. Now, the rear of the axle, you actually kind of want to fan out, so we are going to be taking that one out down there. But here's one installed, and I think I might have to go to a little bit of a thicker, but we're going to check out how this is. We actually have to put this one on this side now. So, yeah, we're almost there. So here's a little view from the outside. We've got them all in, and I think this is going to work pretty dang good. Can't really tell, but I think it seems like it lowered it a little bit. We have it on the ramp, so it's hard to tell, but yeah. So it's supposed to get a little bit warmer later. We're going to wait for that. But, yep, got everything all in. Tires are better. I'm really hoping that those spring clamps are going to help. It seems like they are. So we're just going to let it warm up, and then we're going to go test it. All right, so we got new tires, and we have our homemade spring clamps on. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to try do the 0 to 60. I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if it breaks loose. I want to warm these tires up. It's about 30 degrees out, so let's see if we can get it. Definitely no problem there. All right. Let's see what she does. Okay, so that was interesting. Yeah, she bangs, guys. All the way down there. I can see, yep, man, we got to come back to this. We got to do a couple more